The 7 most common weight loss sabotages when it comes to your strategy.
Here's the question. What's going on inside the minds of top achievers that cause them to make extraordinary breakthroughs both personally and professionally? My name is Tim Schur, and I invite you to join me as we take a deep dive into the unconscious mind and discover how to transform your biggest dreams into a reality. Welcome to the How to Be Mesmerizing podcast.
Hey you, it's Tim, and so we are here for episode number 3. Episode number 3 of how to take back our control, right? How to take back our health, how to take back our energy, our vitality. And so I had to update the title a little bit so that Facebook would actually allow me to share the video because they have all these new rules. It's also about to rain, so I'm really excited about that because we might be filming this episode in the rain. Check out this ominous sky behind me. Dun dun dun. It's gonna be great. So anyway, I'm super excited. I'm gonna get right to it, and I hope you've been enjoying the series. If you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, they're pretty good, and so I'm getting lots of good feedback from it, and so it would be awesome if you were to go check those out and then hang out and watch this with me now. Okay, so let's go for a walk because we're getting healthy and we're feeling good, and it's awesome. It's funny because I've been having my neighbors come up and they're like, hey, are you shooting videos and stuff for work? I see you on your selfie stick. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, so let's jump into this, okay? So yesterday we talked about the most common weight loss sabotages when it comes to your mindset. Tonight, we're going to talk about the 7 most common weight loss sabotages when it comes to your strategy, your actual plan for how you're going to take this weight off and keep it off, or increase your energy, or start living healthier and cleaner, or improving your wellness and vitality, right? Whatever that goal is for you. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So sabotage, how do I say this? Weight loss strategy sabotage, that's a mouthful. Number 1 is the scale. Dun dun dun. Daily weigh-ins. Daily weigh-ins are the best way to ruin your motivation. Now, I know a lot of people say that I get on the scale every day so it keeps me motivated. But what I find is most people do not use it for motivation. They get on the scale and they haven't lost the weight, or they haven't lost as much weight as they think they should have, and then they lose their motivation. Now, every once in a while, you might say, that's it, I'm going to work harder and then kick it into gear. But most of the time, that's not what's happening. Most of the time, what people are doing is getting frustrated. They're letting that little machine, see that little picture I drew on there? Wow, what an artist, huh? I mean, right? Yeah. So anyway, you know, most people get on that little machine and they let that scale decide how they're going to feel about themselves that day. We are not letting anybody except ourselves decide how we're going to feel today. Okay? No one gets to decide how you're going to feel about you except for you. And you want to choose to feel good about yourself. So you set yourself up for success by staying off the scale. So in the beginning, we always have to have a baseline. Where are you at? How much do you weigh on the scale? Get out a measurement, right? And tape measure. And measure all the parts you don't want to measure. Okay? And then make sure that you write it down along with the date, today's date, or whatever day you decide to do this. That's your baseline. Then, I don't want you to get on the scale again for 2 or 3 weeks, okay? Because we're not focusing on losing weight, we're focusing on developing healthy habits. Because again, I can't stress this enough, if you focus only on losing weight and you lose the weight, you also lose all the motivation. And that's why a lot of people relapse and put all the weight back on. They're in pain, so they work really hard to lose weight. They want to lose 50 pounds, they lose 30 pounds, they're not in pain anymore because they're feeling pretty good. They're looking pretty good. And they lose all their motivation. They're like, I don't understand, I was doing so well, and then it just kind of went away. It's because you're out of pain, and you were using an away from pain strategy. So what we have to do is keep building a towards pleasure strategy. And a towards pleasure strategy means that you got to keep focusing on engaging in activities that are moving you towards something better. And so, the rain's coming down. This is going to get exciting. And so anyway, we're going to march on, right? Because we're achievers. And so, because home's the other way, and I'm just going to keep moving forward. So anyway, we're going to make sure that we are keep using a towards pleasure approach. And what I mean by that is we got to keep focusing on, I can't control how much weight I'm going to lose, but I can control the actions that I take today. I can make sure that I do 3 action steps every single day to move towards my goal. Because remember, 3 action steps every single day in the course of a year is over 1,095 action steps that you've taken towards your goal. And when you're doing over 1,000 activities to achieve a goal, guess who's going to achieve that goal? It's going to be you, okay? And so we want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success. So stay off the scale. Get your baseline, know where you're at, and then forget about it. Overwhelmed. We talk about getting overwhelmed in the last program, in the last episode, right? Where we decide that, all right, I'm going to change all of my eating routines. I'm going to exercise every day. I'm going to stop eating sugar. I'm going to stop drinking water, or I'm going to start drinking water. I'm going to stop drinking soda. You know, and we try to do everything at once. I'm going to try to clean every room in my house today at once. Whoa, no way. That is going to wear you out. It's going to be way too much. It's going to be stimuli overload, right? Stimulus overload. It's just going to be too overwhelming. And so if you want to set yourself up for success, you start out one piece at a time. You start out one thing at a time. Instead of, you know, I'm going to stop eating everything that's bad for me. You actually write down all the foods that you're putting in your face. And then you say, all right, now which one do I think is bad for me? And then maybe stop eating that one, just that one item, not even the whole food group, maybe just that one item, right? So, or maybe you realize I go out to fast food a lot. Maybe I'm just gonna stop going to one of the fast food places. And then next week I'll drop the other fast food place. And then, or you, if you're really more motivated and you're like, I'm gonna stop all the fast food places, but I'm still going to eat some of that other stuff at home. If you go in smaller steps, you will feel more confident and you will feel more motivated and you will feel more secure. But as soon as you start telling yourself that you can't do all these things, that you can't have all these things, all of a sudden this voice inside is going to say, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I'm freaking out. And then you will go on a binge. And then you'll be like, I have no idea what happened. What happened is that you tried to do everything at once, and that's a bad strategy. So we've got to work smarter. Now that moves us into sabotage number 3, which falls in line with this. Let me get it. Sorry. It's sticking together. Drastic eating changes. That's another strategy sabotage. Drastic eating changes. So that means going from eating sugar all the time to trying not to eat it at all. Your brain is going to go, what's happening? I don't know what's happening. I need a cookie stat, right? I need a box of cookies. So that's what's going to happen if you try to go cold turkey on stuff. When people try to go cold turkey, they usually freak out for about 2 to 3 days. They go insane. They realize that they can't handle this anymore. They're going nuts. All they're focusing on is their cravings and what they can't have. And then they finally give in and they're like, the heck with this. I'd rather be, you know, eat this stuff and be happy instead of being miserable all the time. Because that's what we do. We start to sabotage ourselves by thinking that I am miserable eating this way. I am miserable doing nothing but, you know, being hungry all the time, by starving myself all the time. And that's a sabotage too. That's a bonus sabotage. I didn't put it in here. But starving yourself, especially if you're over the age of 40, is a bad idea because you are going to shut down your metabolism and then you're not going to store anything except the fat. You're going to lose your muscle and you're going to store the fat. And that is not what you want, right? And so we want to make sure that you're not like skinny fat. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you are doing things that are going to help you to be healthy and for real, right? Because a lot of times when people lose weight really fast, all they're doing is losing their water and they're dehydrating themselves. And then they're keeping all the fat and then they end up getting sick. And then they're like, oh, well, forget this. I tried to lose weight and I just got sick, so I'm not doing it anymore. No, that's not why that happened. It happened because you were starving yourself and you weren't hydrating and you got run down because of that. So we got to make sure instead of drastic eating changes, you say, okay, I'm going to write down all the foods that I eat and then I'm going to figure out what can I start to substitute, okay? And maybe in the beginning you just switch brands, right? I've done, you might have seen, oh, we got lightning. All right, I'm going to turn around and get closer. So that would be a fun video, huh? So anyway, so I did a video where I had 2 boxes of cereal. And one looked like honey something of something, and the other one said healthy, start smart, everything healthy, healthy. And then I put the two, I read the labels, and the one that said healthy, healthy, smart, healthy, healthy, that one had twice as much sugar. And so it's marketing. You cannot buy into the marketing. You have to make sure that you are focusing on reading the labels and figuring out actually how much sugar is in the food that you're eating. And sometimes you can just change the labels. And if you change the label, then, not change the label. Yes, I'm just gonna put new labels on all the stuff that I really wanna eat, and then I'll be okay. Wouldn't that be cool if that was the case? But it doesn't work that way. So instead, we gotta read the labels, and we gotta make sure that we are focusing on eating the stuff that's going to increase your vitality and increase your energy and help you lose weight and help you feel good about yourself. All right, so don't go for drastic changes, just go for one change at a time and make it more manageable on your system. Okay, the next one, winging it versus having a plan. Winging it versus having a plan. Oh my God, I'm getting so wet right now. I hope the camera isn't all wet. I can't really tell. The whole phone is wet. But anyway, so winging it versus having a plan. So when we focus on winging it, then we are not planning. And if you're not planning, then you're going to be in trouble. Because a lot of times people say, well, I'm just going to eat healthy, and they don't actually have any approach that they use to be healthy. And that is such a sabotage. You got to make sure that you are focusing. Oh my God, I'm so wet. You got to make sure that you are focusing here. Okay. All right, here we go. I'm kind of halfway in a garage. You got to make sure that you are focusing on putting some kind of plan together, especially for like the evening time. Because a lot of times what people do is they don't eat until like noon, and then they try to tough it through for lunch, and then they get home for dinner and they're starving, and then they just basically eat all night until they go to bed. And you know, people will be like, I'm so frustrated because I hardly ate anything all day. Yeah, but you ate like 3,000 calories at night. You know, you're just packing it all in when you go to sleep at night. And so, plus, if you do not start eating until noon, then you lost like 6-7 hours of fat burn time. Your metabolism is kind of like a fireplace. And if you don't put wood in the fire goes out, right? And so, and if you eat sugar in the morning, trying to, like donuts, trying to have energy, that's like keeping your fire burning by throwing sheets of paper into it. It flares up and then it goes out, and then your metabolism, your fireplace gets cold and ashy. And you don't want to be cold and ashy, right? You want to be hot and vibrant and full of energy and heat, right? Because that will burn fat and spice things up for you and increase your energy. So we want to make sure that you are planning so that you eat breakfast in the morning, some kind of protein, some kind of egg, some kind of oatmeal, something that will jumpstart you. A green drink in the morning is really good. Fruit smoothies, okay, but that's a lot of sugar to start you off in the day, even though it's good sugar, fruit sugar. It's much better if you have like a green smoothie or something like eggs or oatmeal, okay? I got water running in my eyes. But I'm doing this anyway for you. You know why? Because you are worth it. And if I'm going to stand here in the rain and make a video at 8 o'clock at night so that I can help you get healthy, then you can use these, the least you can do is take these tools and put them into action. Can I have an amen? Amen, brothers and sisters. Okay, so what's the next one then? So we got to make sure that we plan. And that means that especially like at nighttime, if you know that that's a vulnerable time for you, then you got to plan ahead. Or if you're going to a party or you're going to your parents' house and you know that your mom doesn't care about you losing weight, then you got to have a plan, right? So bring a dish that you know you can eat, or eat before you go so you're full when you get there. Or if it's going to be in the evening, make sure that you have healthy snacks all around the house because you've taken those different foods and you've upgraded them. So instead of a bag of chips, maybe you have a bag of veggie chips or kale chips, right? Or some pumpkin seeds or something else. So you've traded up, right? And then that way you have a plan. So when you go into the evening, you can still munch on something if you want, but you're munching on stuff that is low calorie and it tastes good and it makes you feel good. And then what I always tell my clients, a secret, is we stop eating about an hour or two before we go to bed at night. So about an hour or two before we go to bed, we want to go to bed on a slightly empty stomach, because if you do, then your body can use all of its energy for healing and restoration and repairing and also elimination. So it can get rid of the stuff that's in your body that we call fat, and we want to use it up. But if you put a bunch of food in your stomach, then what happens is your body stops with elimination and it stops with restoration, because it has to put all its energy into digestion. So it spends half the night trying to digest all that stuff you put in your body. And so if you're putting a bunch of energy into your body and going to bed, you're going to wake up fat and tired. And we don't want to do that. We want to wake up healthier and more energized. And so an hour or two before you go to bed, stop eating. Okay? So, okay, what's the next one? And if you're over 50, I used to say drink water instead, but then you don't want to be up all night going to the bathroom, if you know what I mean. Okay? All right, so sabotage number 6. Wow, we're almost through this. Hang on a second. Number 5. Sorry, I got to get my cue cards right. Okay, number 5. Calories. Now, what do I mean by calories? I have found consistently that people will say, I know how many calories I'm eating approximately every day. And then I say, well, can't you just find out? Just take 3 days and write down all the foods that you're eating. Or 3 days and write down all the calories. I mean, they've got Fitbit apps, they've got MyFitnessPal apps, they've got things that make it so easy for you. Or just pull out your old journals if you used to count points and do that stuff, and find out how many calories you're eating, because consistently people would come in and say, oh my gosh, I was eating 1,000, I was eating 1,500 more calories than I thought I was. And that is a great strategy for sabotaging yourself if you really think that you're doing all these things and nothing's working. Well, what it usually means is that you have a blind spot. It means that you are not aware that there's a problem and we need to fix that problem. And so one of the best ways of doing that is by recognizing that, hey, I got to take some time and figure out where I'm actually at. I mean, if you don't know where you're at, how can you get somewhere else, right? You got to know where your starting point is. You got to have your baseline. And so take a couple of days. You don't have to do it forever. You don't have to do it for all week, but just take a couple of days and write down. I bet in those couple of days, most people actually lose weight those couple of days because they're so aware of what they're eating, they actually make better choices. But we want to make sure, if you need to do it 3 or 4 days in a row so that you're really honest about where you're at with your calorie intake, then just take the time and do it. Now, sometimes instead of calories, people just write down all the foods they eat, and they're like, wow, I am eating a lot more than I realized. I didn't think I was eating that much. Or they'd be like, wow, I wasn't eating that much, but when I did eat, it was like really bad stuff. And so then it's like not a surprise why you might be exercising or why you might be eating less, but you're not gaining or you're not losing weight. It's because of the food and the calorie intake, right? Your caloric intake. So we want to make sure that you are focusing on counting those calories and knowing where you're at just for a couple days. If it would take just a couple of days to be able to transform your health, your weight, your life forever, would it be worth it? Yes. So quit making excuses, step up and do it, and you're going to find that you're going to get better results. Okay? All right, sabotage strategy, I can't get that right. Strategy sabotage. So if I say sabotage strategy, you just flip it around for me next time, okay? So strategy sabotage number 6 is no sleep, or not getting enough sleep. Okay, see those little Z's on there? Isn't that adorable? All right, so I think I'm a little waterlogged. So no sleep or not getting enough sleep, that is huge. One of the first programs in my Body and Mind Transformation course is called Sound Sleep. It's a sleep rejuvenation program where we recharge our emotional batteries, because one of the things that people are really having a hard time with these days are sleeping. People are just not sleeping well. And if you're not sleeping well, nothing else goes well. It's very difficult to lose weight if you are high stressed, high anxiety, or you're not sleeping, because your body's so full of adrenaline, it's so full of cortisol that it causes you to store fat. It's a fight or flight response. It's a survival response in your body. If your body thinks you're in danger, it stores fat to try to protect you. And so we have to get better sleep. Now, the best way to do it is go to bed early. Now, a lot of times people have a hard time with that. They'd rather just sleep in if possible, but you can't catch up sleeping in. The only way you can catch up is either going to bed early or using one of my brain software programs, because those audio programs recharge your emotional batteries and get you into that delta sleep state faster. They give you more theta sleep too. When you go into the theta sleep, there's about 4 brain waves in your brain. There's the beta state, which is high alert activities. There's the alpha, a range of alpha, where you're in alpha right now. There's theta, where you're in REM sleep, you know, rapid eye movement sleep, where you're dreaming. That's usually when you recharge the most. And then there's delta, which is sound deep sleep, where you don't know what's going on. You're not dreaming or anything, okay? And so we fluctuate up and down through those sleep cycles normally. And so my programs are designed to get you into more theta sleep so that you're recharging your emotional batteries. So when you wake up, you feel better. Okay, so using those programs is the fastest way. I wish I could tell you that just taking melatonin and doing a little meditation before you go to bed and doing a little journaling and all that stuff is going to be great. It's helpful, but it doesn't seem to be enough. It doesn't seem to do the trick. You got to use something a little bit more powerful, and that's why I put it together, and that's why I'm telling you that if you want to get better sleep, you got to use one of those programs. If you don't want to use mine, then use somebody else's, but they're not going to be as good. So okay, so then we have the last one. The last strategy sabotage is no healthy foods on the go. No grab-and-go foods, okay? This is part of that sabotage of not planning ahead. If you don't have healthy snacks on your counter or in your fridge that you can just grab and go so that you can have mindless eating, so you can have effortless weight loss, if you're not setting yourself up for that, then you're going to struggle. So lots of people will say that, you know, on Sunday night, I make a whole bunch of soups and a whole bunch of salads and a whole bunch of healthy foods, and then I just put them in a bunch of Tupperware containers, and then I put them in the fridge, and I fill the fridge up with that stuff, and I am good to go. And that's a brilliant plan. For me, I used to, you know, I remember it was Halloween one time, and we had leftover Halloween candy, and there was a bowl of it there, little candy bars. And I took that bowl of candy bars, my kids were mad at me, and I threw it in the garbage. And then I dumped old rancid spaghetti sauce on it in the garbage so that I wouldn't dig them out. Because I would walk by and grab a handful of those candy bars and a glass of milk and go sit down and binge out on it, right? And then I would be tired, and then I would be mad. And so, but I couldn't handle the temptation, so I just threw it away. I washed out the bowl, and I put a bunch of tangerines and little tiny oranges and bags of walnuts and bags of almonds, right? Or I would get some nut butter. Be careful. Some people will eat a lot of peanut butter and peanuts, especially roasted. Anything that's roasted, basically what they did was they cooked out anything good in it. So stay away from the roasted, salted. I can hear you already saying, oh, you want to just stay away from any of the stuff that tastes good. But trust me, the other stuff tastes good. The problem with eating a lot of junk food is it trashes out your taste buds. And if it trashes your taste buds, then you're not really tasting much anyway, because your taste buds have been saturated with with goo, right? With a bunch of fried foods and fat. And so when you get away from that, your palate cleans up and you actually eat a lot healthier. And so we want to make sure that you have, I just wrote down a bunch of snacks, like canned wild salmon is really good. I love berries, different kinds of berries, different colored berries, or I'll have a small salad with walnuts and berries, and I just throw it on top, and cucumbers and strawberries, and it just looks awesome. Makes me feel like I'm having a little treat. And it's already, I put it in a container or put it in a glass bowl with saran wrap on it, and it's grab and go. It's super easy. Okay, avocados, or what I love is I get avocados with some Jack salsa, which is really, really good. It's got all the tomatoes and herbs and everything. And I just mash up the avocados and throw the salsa in. Boom, healthy, yummy, delicious snack. Snap peas. Oh my gosh, cold snap peas. Have you ever had those before? I just discovered those. We were out for sushi, and I was in California, and we were out having sushi, and oh my gosh, we had a bowl of snap peas, and I was like losing my mind. I'm like, these are so good. Oh my gosh, well, I'm just eating all these snap peas. And so they have it at the grocery store. I got some in there right now. I'm going to go eat some after I'm done with this video. So what else? Carrots. I usually dip my guacamole with carrots instead of chips. I'll use carrots, and so I like that. Hard-boiled eggs is good. Roasted peppers. Now, with the roasted peppers, a lot of times I'll put a little piece of bacon in there. It's like an Atkins throwback, okay? So a little bit of bacon and some roasted pepper. Oh my gosh, that is delicious, right? And it's good for you. Not a ton of bacon, but a little bit is fine. Protein shakes and snacks because it's grab and go, super easy. Here's one everybody likes, dark chocolate. Yeah, chocolate. You can have some chocolate. This isn't where you can't ever have anything. This is we're just going to make sure that you're in moderation, right? And dark chocolate is different than milk chocolate. So I don't know many people that binge out on dark chocolate because it's just it's not that kind of food. It's not full of sugar in that way. Milk chocolate, yeah, people will binge out on that. But not, excuse me, not the dark chocolate. So, my gosh, have you seen, I don't know if you can tell, we're having like a total like meltdown here. I love it. I got to build an ark. So, anyway, so look at this down here. Can you see this down here? Oh my God. Why am I even showing you this? The water is gushing. I don't know why I had to show you that. I just thought it's crazy. We got a lot of water coming out. I'm glad I'm inside. So anyway, you can put a lot of snacks around. When you put a lot of snacks around, then you're going to find that suddenly it's easy to grab and go. It's mindless. You don't have to think about it. If you have foods and you know the calories and you know basically the food groups that you're eating, then you can just measure it out, have it there for the week, fill your fridge with it. You have a lot of foods that you can eat where it doesn't matter if you keep track, like all the veggies and fruits and salads. You can binge out every single day on that stuff and it won't matter how much you eat. So there's a lot of ways of eating healthy and increasing your vitality and your energy that are fun. It feels good. And of course, lots and lots of water, right? The magic water. Oh my gosh, water. I'm drenched with water. I got water here. It's a water party, people. It's awesome. Okay? So, water can be fun. Lemon juice, lime juice in here. Put some cucumbers if you want to be like West Coast style, right? You can put some grapes in here if you want to sweeten it a little bit naturally. There's lots of things you can do to make this fun and healthy. So if it's boring, it's because you're being boring. If it's fun, it's because you're making it fun. It's an attitude choice. So we've talked about the mindset and we talked about the strategy. So tomorrow night when we go for our walk, hopefully it's nicer out, but when we go for our walk, then we're going to talk about something else. I can't remember what it is because I'm all waterlogged right now, and that's okay. But I will prepare tonight, and I will be ready for tomorrow, and it's going to be totally awesome. You know why it's going to be awesome? Because you're going to be with me, and we're going to hang out together. You're going to be sipping your water. I'm going to be sipping, I'm drinking my water. It's a party, okay? So I hope you keep partying with me. We got like, 11 more days to go with this? It's going to be awesome. So I hope that you hang out with me and we keep getting crazy and we keep getting healthy and we keep feeling good and we keep having fun because that's what it's all about, right? Why do you want all that crazy energy anyway? Because you want to feel good and you want to have more joy in your life. You want to show up more joyful. We don't want to just get through the day. We want to get from the day. And how do you get from the day? By increasing your energy and then strengthening your mindset. And then we go out there and we put a plan together for how we're going to make our dreams come true. And then we go get it done. So, all right. Hi, Kathleen. How are you? So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. It's awesome to be with you tonight. If you didn't catch the beginning of this, I'm going to have it live and then I'll have it on, I'm going to do a watch party next. And then I'll have it on YouTube. Okay, so make sure that you're checking it out. And then I'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. LA time. And, oh my gosh, what is it? 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to go and we're going to rock it out and go for another walk and continue to create our mind and body transformation. And remember, we got our big class coming up May 22nd. It's a live coaching experience. So a group of us achievers are going to get on the phone and we're going to do some really powerful experiences together. And I hope that you're with us because it's going to be awesome. The link will be down below if you want to register and grab your seat early. So I've got an early bird price up there right now. You should take advantage. All right. So anyway, you take care of yourself and I will see you soon. I'm going to go dry off now, tuck the kids into bed and go hang out with the wifey. So thanks for hanging out with me and make tonight a sure success. For your homework strategy, this is for you too, Maria. Your homework strategy is go through these 7 strategy sabotages and then make sure that you are looking at, all right, what have I been doing wrong and what do I need to make it right? Okay, there's no such thing as failure. There's just feedback. What do I need to do to make it better? What strategies do I need to put into place that are going to help me to start crushing it? And then when you start doing that, you're going to find that everything starts to fall into place for you because you have better strategies and you have the mindset to go with it. All right? All right, that's your homework for this week. I'll see you tomorrow, and have a good night. Thanks. Bye.
Hey, would you like more free tips on how to be a mesmerizing leader? Then check out mesmerizingleadership.com and also hang out with me on Facebook, facebook.com/Tim Sure. Thanks so much, and make your day a sure success.